when you're vetting a woman, do you think it's important to understand her attitude about honesty?
Yeah.
She only wants honesty when it validates her.
Red flag. Abort mission.
We say we want honesty, but we don't explain the caveats behind that open-ended statement.
I still reward that. Because even then, she's being honest.
Sure, but how many people date folks who, when you get honest with them, it's an all-out, or it's held against you later in a relationship.
I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
This is Caesar Walker, the cool, calm, collected one.
And I'm Ronnie Gatry, the emotional one.
And we are the Tipping Point Podcast, your source for the black male's perspective.
Tipping Point Podcast.
Peace and blessings, everyone. We want to welcome you to the latest and greatest episode. Shout out to all of our listeners and viewers, both new and old. We want to say thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us. Gentlemen, how are we?
I'm great. I don't want any small talk. I'm ready to get into this, but I'll play along.
Man, you look like the Lord's been good to you, man. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say.
Why can't you be this nice to me off air?
I am nice to you. I've been nice to you for a long time.
I didn't say you weren't nice. I said this nice.
What's the difference?
How are you, Black?
I'm doing well. You look nice today,
Wait,
Kat.
you're doing what?
I'm doing well.
Let's bask in this. You said more than 2 words.
True.
Well, I was at a soccer conference all day.
We know how those go.
He kicked it at a soccer conference all day. I mean, he bragged different.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Oh, messy dude over there.
Creasing that shirt up like I'm going to get him at this soccer conference. The hat on, everything.
So
What's
why
up?
didn't we record last week?
What is this? No. I've said my piece. I've given my
I should
pleasantries.
be asking that question.
I've given my pleasantries.
Do you have a question?
No,
Do you have a question, Walker?
You wanted to go here. You said you acknowledged he said more than 2 words. Let's stay over there.
Okay. You're well.
Yes.
You are well. 3 words.
Yes. Vacay.
Okay. I
Vacay coming up, or you're coming off of one? No,
Coming off of one.
came off of one.
Okay.
That's why he wasn't here either.
That's why I missed the classic.
Why'd you miss the classic?
This is
Now, there's a
y'all
rule.
had your turn for me.
There's a
Black is up
rule
now in the rotation.
That once you get your black card back, you're on probation, right? You're on a probationary period. So you can't mix blackity black functions like the classic. What?
We're on Black right now. Y'all had your time to throw darts at me.
What else we want to say about it?
He said he was on vacation. He didn't say where.
We
What-
talked about him at a soccer
If I leave the
conference.
county, I have to tell y'all.
You don't. You don't. You leave the county all the time for your job.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Where did you go, Black?
Cancun.
Cancun.
Oh, you're just gonna ride this out.
This is getting uncomfortable. Where are we going with this?
Because this is how y'all do me when I travel.
How do we do you?
Where'd you go, Gat? Huh? Oh, how'd you fly there? Oh, what was your first course?
I flew
What was your third course?
I flew economy.
Flag on the play.
I flew economy.
You didn't fly no economy.
The previous play is on the further review. You take it and run with it when we tell you. And you go, and you go, and you go.
Right. Why can't we do that with Black?
Because he does not go. He gives you 3 words at best.
Well, I'm going to give you 0 words.
No, you
I'm going to
when?
give you 2 words like Most Def said.
Starting when?
When I could think of 2 words. I was really trying to think of a lyric from that track.
Dope song, though.
Yeah.
I'm done. So what about you, Walker?
We got to do better with this triangle offense, man. Phil Jackson would be insulted by us. You got to swing it.
I guess he's a stretch. He only shoots. He gets in the corner. I'm good. Doing well. Glad to be here. Good to see you. What?
I'm not going to prod like y'all do. I'm going to accept what you give me. and ask, when can we get into this topic that you went deep in your bag
Y'all
for?
do. Like y'all do? Okay, fine. You ready? You ready for the topic? So, Gat, are you familiar with a show on YouTube called Pop the Balloon or Find Love? I'm just asking.
Yeah. No. I'll be nice. No, I haven't, Walker. What did you do?
That was pretty funny. that was funny. That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
No, I have not heard of that show.
I have not heard of the show. Okay. I'm going to explain it for the benefit of those who are listening and watching. Probably a lot of people watching who have seen it, but I was going to explain it to the benefit of those who aren't familiar with it.
Acknowledge spoilers if they exist.
It's not a movie or show. There's several episodes of it.
Okay.
The concept of it, which is genius, is obviously it's a dating show where you have a host and they'll flip it. They'll flip it. I'll explain to you how they flip it. Is that they'll bring a man on, right? He'll walk on, to the area, and there's a line of women there, first appearances and everything, and each woman has a balloon in their hand. So whenever they're not feeling the guy and they over it, they can pop the balloon. So they can pop the balloon before the guy even says anything. Right? So as the lady's asking the guy questions, your name, what do you do? What is it that you're looking for? What are some of your turnoffs? And then they start going down the line if a woman has popped and ask them questions about, hey, why did you pop? Tell me, why did you pop? Oh, he's not this, not my type. Okay, what expects exactly about him? And so you're getting insight into how people make decisions in terms of who they're attracted to or who they're not attracted to. So if you're a content creator, there are people who just been doing lives just reviewing these episodes. Like they're getting millions of views each episode. Like it's been an ingenious idea of a show. Well, I bring that up because there was one episode where someone was reviewing a particular clip or segment where there was a young lady on and there was a line of guys. And after iterations of popping, because the person gets to pop balloons too of who they're not interested in. So this person had the opportunity to ask the guys in the line a question. And she asked the question, what is more important to you, loyalty or honesty? And I thought that was a very intriguing question. Now, in my personal opinion, and for the benefit of those listening, obviously both are important in a relationship. So I don't think there's a wrong answer here, but I think this is always interesting to gain perspective from others in the room as to how they perceive loyalty and honesty. And I don't think that, as important as they are, I don't think that you may value them equally. One may be more important than the other. And it's always interesting when we have these conversations, you'll kind of see, based on who you're talking to, which one they prioritize above the other. So I thought this would make for an interesting discussion. So that's the setup. That's the backdrop. I yield the floor to you.
Okay. I got two things.
Okay.
First thing is, Walker, I could not disagree with you more. Second thing is...
On what?
On, you think, what'd you say you thought?
What's that?
You said, I think they're equally as important or something like that?
I think they're both important.
They are, but you said something else after that about what you thought. And I immediately started thinking about how much I disagree. So that's why I don't remember what you said.
Even though you don't remember.
Irrelevant.
See what kind of episode it is.
I took this totally out of context. So I'm grateful that you gave me the play-by-play in terms of the foundation.
Okay.
Because I took it as if you had to have one of the two, which one would you go with?
You can still treat it that way.
Well, then let me cook.
Yeah, you can still treat it that way.
Caesar Walker, I'm here to tell you, you can take your loyalty and put in the trash.
You just know someone's going to listen and say, but you need this one too. You know someone's going to say that.
But
I want them to know, we know that both are important.
Yes.
However, this exercise is designed to determine which one is more important to you. So if you had to get rid of one, which would you get rid of?
I'm ditching the loyalty.
Really?
Ditching it, not even thinking twice about it.
Really?
Think about it. And I got a lot here, Walker. So just like, keep me
I had
calm.
a feeling you was going to pick this one.
Walker, here's
So honesty is yours.
Yes, here's the thing. You talk about these popping balloon foolishness or whatever. You got to be
Don't
honest.
talk about single people and how they try to find love.
Well, true. Thank you.
Okay.
You got to be honest to pop a balloon. Popping a balloon takes honesty. There's no loyalty involved in that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm thinking about, for me, and I'm gonna go back to dating just to play your game.
Because those are two different sports.
If there are things that you don't like about me that you cannot be honest with me about, but you're going to stick with me just because you value loyalty, you're working against my progression.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'll give you something really, really low hanging fruit or whatever. When I first started shaving my head, when I started losing my hair, I was single.
In high school?
I was single. See, in 2025.
You had just graduated from high school.
No, I
Don't be
didn't.
disrespectful.
I did not.
That was disrespectful. Okay.
Listen, in 2025, I'm gonna do a better job
He
of
left high
managing.
school, his hair left him. Okay.
I'm gonna do a better job of
They
managing who
departed.
you allow to come in the studio because you just bring anybody in here and you let them fire shots at me. Anyway. Again, why can't you be this nice to me? Anyway.
Point taken.
So anyway, I remember the first time I shaved my head, man, I had a patch. A patch, and bro.
I'm sorry.
I'm walking around the office. Bro. Yes, bro, I went outside, bro, and I'm like, Patch Adams over here.
You should have put a yarmulke on your head.
I didn't know.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know. This is the first time shaving. I don't know. You got to feel around it. You know what I mean? Like you learn.
So you found it out on your own or someone
No.
pointed it out?
Who was it?
I'm not going to say her name, but we were all working at the same place at the time. So there was not high school. Anyway, it wasn't.
You did work there in high school, right?
But you didn't. Where are we going here?
Come on, Patch.
Anyway, it wasn't until after lunch that someone had the courage to be honest with me and tell me you got a big patch on your head.
Ball spot.
No.
Oh,
I was shaving and I missed a spot.
You zeked yourself.
Yes, whatever that means. I'll Google that later. But anyway, here's my thing. Take that as an example.
That's what it sounds like when you take a patch off. Zeke.
Take that as an example. Let's say I'm dating someone. Let's say she values loyalty over honesty. She's not going to be honest with me and tell me I got a patch on my head. She's going to allow me to go out, patch on the head. Don't want to be honest with you about that for whatever reason. I'm going to get into that in a minute too. But I'm going to be here when he gets home. You're not helping me. Like, to me, your honesty helps both of us.
Gotcha.
Like, I don't want to conflate the two, but I want you to think about something. Again, I'm basing on the context of you got to have one.
Okay.
You got to have one. If you are loyal, that means you could still be deceitful. If you're honest, you cannot be deceitful. Right?
Sure.
Also, here's the big thing I want my single brothers dating to know is if you're honest with me and you're not vibing with me, let me know early on so I can go find somebody else and you can too.
Okay.
But if you're committed to loyalty, that means you're just going to sit in there with all these truths that are obfuscated.
Okay.
That's not going to help the relationship. That's not going to help us. So that's why
Gotcha.
if I had to pick from the two, you're going to have to be honest with me, regardless.
Got it.
Honesty hurts, at least on the front end.
Depends on what you're honest about. Okay. Yes.
Honesty hurts. Trust me. I've been on the other side of honesty.
I mean, depending on what you're being honest about.
It hurts.
Regardless.
So
There's some things you can be honest about, and it's actually like, okay, words of affirmation is your primary love language.
True.
Your wife can be honest about things to affirm you, and she truly feels that. Does that hurt?
You're going to find the nuance in everything.
I just said some of the time.
Let me be respectful and answer your question. No, the words of affirmation do not hurt.
Okay. Right? So I'm with you. I'm following you. You're making a point. I acknowledge it, but I'm saying it depends on what you're being honest about.
Okay. Why is honesty such a challenge for people?
Why is honesty a challenge for people?
Let me run that back. Why can honesty be a challenge for a wide number of people?
Well, I think a lot of people fear rejection. So being honest about something, either yourself or being honest about the other person, you're afraid of how that person may react or respond.
Because it could.
Their rejection of you will hurt.
Hurts. Okay, so now we've gone around and come back. Honesty hurts. Loyalty? Easy. You know what I think of when I think of loyalty? I think of comfort. I could tell him he's got that patch on his head, but I don't know how he's going to take it. It could hurt his feelings. I'll just shut up and sit here in the shadows and wait for him to come back because I'm loyal. It's easier. Testing. Is this on? Like, do y'all hear me?
We did all that before this was
Hey, you want me to be honest? I'm cooking right now.
So Gat is about honesty.
I'm about the honesty.
Gat is team honesty.
The silent H. Give it all to me.
Okay. Black, you got the same question. How do you what are your thoughts about honesty versus loyalty?
I hate to say this, but I agree with Gat. I'm more of an honesty person because I feel like if we're going through issues, like if it's a couple, if you're being honest with me, I can use the truth to help navigate through a problem. But if you're loyal don't seem to be as important to me. If I know the truth, then I can deal with the truth.
Gotcha.
Now, when he's talking about loyalty being easy, I don't see it that way because you can have, say you got a group of friends and like you confide into this person and they turn around and tell somebody else that they're not supposed to tell, like they're being disloyal, and that comes back around to you. That can, what Gatry like to say, hurt when someone shares a secret that you confided in them with someone else. Does that make sense?
No, I was just trying to make sure I heard everything, unlike when Walker was speaking earlier.
And then you see it sometimes in like just on a surface level, like in sports, when like a player commits to a team, then all of a sudden he gets traded and he feels some type of way about that because he invested all his time and effort into like being a team player, then up and gets traded.
Right.
Loyalty can hurt. So I was thinking about, was it
Being disloyal can hurt.
yeah. The guy who got traded from the Knicks to the Timberwolves, DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
How he went after old boy's dad, Brunson.
Rick Brunson.
DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he was going at the Tibbs, and then
Brunson
Brunson.
intervened.
Yeah.
So loyalty can hurt just as much as dishonesty.
What?
Can I mean, I think the proper decorum is to swing it back to you.
No.
I'm breaking the triangle here.
Well,
Okay. Okay. Walker, Black, respectively. I want to ask y'all a question because I'm going to ride hard for my loyalty being easy methodology. Okay? You with me?
Sure.
I'm a big fan of kava. Y'all eat kava?
I'm actually going after this.
Okay. I'm jealous. I'm honest.
Don't be. 'Cause
No.
I'm jealous of you. What you doing after this?
But let me be honest.
Okay.
Okay. I'm so ready for this. Anyway,
You are such a cheeseburger.
I'm a kava loyalist.
Yes.
I'm loyal to
I
Kava.
like the last one.
Okay.
You mean you're loyal now that you've put Chipotle to the side?
What is Chipotle?
Not loyal anymore to
He's
Chipotle.
being honest about that too.
I'll Google that later. I got two things to Google. Kava has a program called Kava Rewards. Kava says, Ronnie, you love us so much. All you got to do is keep eating here. We'll give you points. Say less. That's an easy conversion. Loyalty, right? Every now and then I'll get a random email from Kava, my beloved Kava, asking for a survey, asking for honesty. You know what I do to those emails?
Why?
It's hard for me to tell you falafel is trash. It's hard for me to do that, especially when you're rewarding me for my loyalty.
Okay.
You see the difference?
No.
There's no incentive. There's no incentive for submitting a survey. None. There's no incentive. But for my loyalty, you'll give me points. You don't give me any extra points for leaving a survey. Honesty is hard, man.
Yeah, sometimes if you fill out a survey and you
You get something free.
You do get something free.
Sometimes from other establishments. I'm talking about Kava. Why can't y'all stay within my example?
That's fine.
Okay.
And that's fine too. That's right.
That's my whole point. Honesty is hard. Honesty hurts.
Loyalty, you get points.
But weren't you loyal to Chipotle before you became loyal to Kava?
I have to Google it first to answer that question. I don't know what Chipotle is.
Okay.
What is he talking about? Should I Google it now?
Yeah. Please.
So that's my thought. That's my thought. But we gotta let you talk too, Walker. This is your topic by all means. All nights I want a quarterback.
Right.
Have you ever seen? You know what we're doing right now, Walker? We're at the mesh.
Time out. You know what you are.
Yes, and I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
We're at the mesh point on the RPO, and you're like, yeah, you're reading.
You will never give the ball. Never give the ball. Even though you should.
Gotta take the sack every time.
We losing yards every play, but he gonna pull.
I feel like that's exactly what's happening right now. Anyway, go ahead, Walker.
Do you think I'm a contrarian?
I know you are.
Why you say that?
You live in you're a proud resident, long time resident of Nuance. You've said it, give or take 205 times in the history of this podcast.
That I'm a contrarian?
Oh my gosh.
I have?
Oh, dude, early tipping point. This is a word you uttered every other episode.
I thought I was saying it about you.
Oh.
It was still uttered.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Black. Dang, Black gave me the assist. Wow, a half assist, but I'll take it.
It wanted to see.
We're not talking about context.
Absolutely. You just can't. I just said it. Got it.
Okay, so you're referring to okay, so no, you're not a contrarian.
I love this energy, man. I love this energy. I initially led with honesty. I initially started off with honesty. And then I thought about it. And I thought about how I feel about loyalty. And I look at how I view loyalty. And when I'm loyal to something, there's no feelings involved with it. It's similar to a devotion that I have to something, right? So regardless of my feelings, regardless of me wanting to not commit to this thing, I'm honoring my word. It's like it's an extension of my character and integrity. I make the same argument for honesty in that regard too. But when I think of what it means to be loyal, when I think about marriage, I think about career, I think about things that have been difficult, could have easily walked away from these things, but I made a commitment to stick this thing through. The discomfort that I pushed through and the it's kind of like a very part of me feeling like a man. Like I honored my commitment. If you notice, like that's one of the things that you see men teach their sons is your word needs to mean something. Okay, why are we teaching that to our sons as opposed to daughters, right? Obviously, you're teaching your daughters the word means something, but it's emphasized with why is that, right? Because you there's an expectation if we're going to lead, then you can't lead if you're not devoted to something. And when I think about relationships, I think about how men love, because I've been saying it a lot lately. We think of our love for our wives as duty and responsibility because the buck stops with us, right? So my devotion to my marriage, my devotion to my family, my devotion to my wife is something I take seriously. So if anybody leaves, it's not going to be me because I'm responsible for this thing. I'm willing to take a bullet for my wife and daughter. I'm willing to risk my life. That's a serious commitment on my part to uphold that. And it's an extension of my identity in a sense. This is who I am. This is what I do. So when I begin to think about it in my approach to career, family, marriage, my devotion to be present in each of those examples is kind of the DNA of who I am. So when I think about it, yeah, you need to be honest. But when you think about what's required of me as a man, I can't be flighty as a man. My wife's not going to feel very secure. My daughter's not going to feel very secure if I'm wishy-washy. I can't keep a job. I'm back and forth. Like they need me to be constant, which means I need to be steadfast on whatever goals are set for me and as a leader for my family, community. So when I think about what loyalty means to me and how I even receive love, we're going to have some moments, we're going to have some challenges, but I need you to be there, and I'm going to elaborate on this in a minute. But when things get tough, I don't want you bailing on me because we hit a rough patch. that kind of means something to me. That, and when you think about your wife and you think about the challenges y'all done been through, and the dust has settled and she's right there with you through those moments, you look at her through the lens of eyes that you didn't have on your wedding day. You know what I mean? This is your partner. This is my ride or this is my true ride or die, because she's been there with me. Those vows had to be written by a guy because he's thinking in terms of better or worse. I'm with you. That's you know what I mean? So when I think of loyalty, I think of when it's convenient for you to leave, you won't. Wow. So that's kind of how I process that. What are your thoughts about what I just said?
That's very strong. That's definitely some thoughts I hadn't considered. And there's not much I disagree with what you said.
Okay.
I do have some questions, but I'm gonna swing it to Black first.
Okay.
Why is he so shocked when we go to him? He got the mic on him. It's his first day.
I don't have a problem with what you said, but I still lean more towards honesty.
Gotcha.
I just have an issue with being lied to, and I prefer
That's
that you
fair.
don't lie to me about something. If you're truthful with me, then I feel like we can work it out.
What does honesty mean? This is what I was going to add. We're going to get into these definitions. What does honesty mean?
Well, I brought up like 2 descriptions of each one of them. But
Let's hear him.
So it says, honesty is about openness and truthfulness, ensuring that you are genuine with each other. Honesty allows for authentic connection, helps prevent misunderstandings, and ensures that any issues or desires are openly discussed rather than hidden. Without honesty, loyalty can become hollow, and without loyalty, honesty can lead to pain rather than closeness. And for loyalty, it
Sounds like
says...
yin and yang almost, but go ahead.
It says loyalty is the commitment to stay emotionally and physically invested in your partner and prioritize the relationship over outside influences. It builds a sense of security, showing that you are reliable and committed, which is the foundation for a stable partnership.
Things I just said. Okay. So Black gave the technical definitions. What does it mean personally to you, Gat?
Just out of the mindset of Gat?
Yeah, just honesty in the framework of your anecdotal lived experiences. How, in terms of how significant it is, how would you define honesty?
Just the willingness and the execution to always speak the truth, no matter if it
Hurts.
Okay. I think of just one word: transparency.
okay.
I think of one word, just being transparent, and that's not even just even with communication. That's just your lived experience. I can tell you one thing, be sincere about it, but then go out there in the world and do something totally different. Being transparent, words, thoughts, actions. Another question for you, gentlemen. You said honesty. You want honesty even if it hurts. Let's talk about what hurts. Let's talk about what hurts.
I'm not going to say want it.
Okay. You lean towards honesty, and you don't want honesty?
No.
What happened?
Then frame it.
Dude.
What just happened?
No. I got
Frame
this. Because y'all, Mr. Captain Nuance here is missing a clear opportunity here. I'll give y'all an example. This was like first 3 years of marriage. I used to randomly send flowers to my wife's office. Randomly. No cadence, no reason, just send them. She accepted them. She talked about them. Was feeling good. Then came one time, had another order of flowers sent in. Came home frustrated. Hey, what, did I get the wrong type of flower? Like, what was it? Ron, I got to be honest. I don't like flowers. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. Hundreds of dollars of flowers, hundreds of thousands of thoughts. I'm thinking this is good. I didn't want to hear that. I needed to. Wait.
I'm sorry.
The power of honesty revealed right here, Walker. Now, after I got over myself because I wasn't in a mature frame of mind there, I lost it. I'm not going to lie to y'all, dude. I lost it. Why you had me do? I've been sending you flowers for 3 years. Make it about me. When the dust finally settled from that and I got myself together, what I learned was she's not the type of woman that's going to receive flowers. Never have been. Hadn't been impressed by them. They don't do anything for me. But I got to learn what does it for her.
Okay.
When it gotten there, she'd have stayed loyal to the flowers. Or has she not been honest? So Walker, I'll circle back. No, I don't want honesty.
Well,
I don't want it.
Okay.
I need it.
Can I get back to my question?
I answered yours.
I didn't ask it.
You said you don't want honesty? Question mark. I have to answer that.
Okay. Can I rephrase the question?
Of course you can, Walker.
You want honesty. You prefer it over loyalty.
Oh, yeah. Why did you just say that? I love it here.
Glad someone does. I done forgot where I was going. I have forgotten.
I was actually looking for the Ren and Stimpy button when he
Yikes.
you eat.
It's still in there. I think it's on page 2.
I forgot we put that one in.
Yeah, dude.
I forgot we
It's
put
been
that
a long
It's
time.
been a long time. It's been a long time.
Talk about maturation.
So yeah, you prefer honesty over loyalty, even if honesty hurts. Let's talk about what could potentially hurt.
How much time we got?
Okay. So you talked about the fact that your wife doesn't want flowers. But how honest do you want? And this isn't your experience, thank God. But how honest do you want a person to be if there is situations like infidelity? Or if there's situations like, you know what I mean? How honest, is there a cap on honesty there?
No.
Okay.
Now, I'm speaking about where I am now.
Okay.
Where my mental is, where my spiritual is. I'm built to take that. Doesn't mean I'll accept it, but I'm built to receive those conversations.
Okay.
Whereas, as you saw with the flowers, year 3, 4, it's not built for that honesty.
Sure.
Okay, another observation there, but I don't want to defer from where you're going. But keep on.
No. I'm just. I guess. So wait, you said you're not. You still want her to. You doesn't mean you're going to accept what she tells you, but you want it.
I need it.
Okay.
I don't want to like devalue that term, but I need it because from I'm taking this from the lens of my wife and other close personal relationships.
Sure.
It's always been better for the relationship when that honesty's been introduced.
Okay. Do you think her loyalty to you could have yielded a different outcome?
Oh yeah. For sure.
Now, in a situation, because you have these you got work wife, work husband types of dynamics with people.
I know. It's just.
So this person's being loyal. What is that?
I just feel away.
Like he got the heebie-jeebies or something.
Y'all saw my fear dance before.
Yes.
It's kind of an iteration of that.
Got it. You can't get up and dance when you do that. Got it. Okay. So using an example, and it can be perceived as an extreme example, but I can understand how a person is being loyal, but they have feelings and a connection to someone other than you, which will still be damaging because they're not being transparent, even though they're not giving into it. Doesn't make you feel any better about it, right? So obviously you want the loyalty there, but what you would appreciate beyond that is her being transparent about what's going on with her. And if there's a root cause to it, so that y'all can do something about it before it gets out of hand. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. Black, in an example where it's in a relationship, it's, the flowers example that Gat gave, yeah, that rocked him because he thought he was really doing what she liked. But what if there's a situation where she has to tell you something and it could really rock the relationship?
You may have to reiterate your question, but that made me think about something. You sent the video to us about a long conversation. I didn't watch that video, but it pointed me to another of his conversations. And he was talking, it was a divorce lawyer.
Yes.
And he was talking about how when there's infidelity, the man and the woman, they ask two different questions.
Yes.
The man will ask, did you sleep with him? And the woman asks, do you love her?
Okay. Why did he elaborate on that?
I can't remember, but I guess you're familiar with it also?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But that's what came into my mind when you started talking about your example.
Going down this path.
Uh-huh. Because like for me, with dishonesty, if it's infidelity, I feel
I
like...
mentioned his name.
And I think about it logically. I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but like, be honest with me.
James Sexton.
Okay.
James Sexton.
Give me all the data points and I can problem solve for that. If you give me good, bad, indifferent, just give me all the data. Just be truthful. And I can figure out a way through it possibly. But if you're not giving me everything, if you're being dishonest, it's hard to navigate through that. So that's how I kind of feel about that. Like, give me all the data, good, bad, indifferent, and let me see how I can work through it.
And I think Psychax has said this too. Loyalty, he did a short talk and he said loyalty means different things to men and women. And with men, it's duty, our duty, my obligation. I made a vow before God and man that I'm going to be here with you. So my loyalty to you is me being here. Generally speaking, right? Not all men are the same, but generally that's how men view their loyalty to something, right? This is my response. I said I was going to be here. I'm going to be here. And he mentioned that generally women are loyal to their emotions and feelings. So there's a tendency when you hear women say, I fell out of love, right? That's what led to that question there.
Oh, okay.
The man views disloyalty is you're not supposed to be sleeping with. That's why that's why it's difficult for him to forgive the woman when she sleeps. Doesn't even matter if it was good or not, right? But with the woman, it's, did you love her? Because that's going to be even more, granted, you can find women who they going at the first sign of cheating too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My wife's one of them. Okay. So I know there's women out there like that, but why do women ask the did you love her question? Men don't ask that question. Don't care. Right?
True. I'm with you on
because
this one.
because the loyalty is why'd you do it? Why'd you do that to me? And that's why men will cheat and will try to, it doesn't really, it's a double-edged sword, but that's why men will up just till they blue in the face. It didn't mean nothing.
It's just a transaction.
I'm still here. I'm not with her. I'm not justifying that, but what I'm saying that's the logic is
That makes sense.
that ain't,
I was gonna get right back.
yeah, yes, yeah, I'm here.
Right.
And I think the belief is that with her, it's not that simple. I heard another brother say, it's so much easier to go to someone else's house than it is letting someone in your house. It kind of hits different when she steps, because, see, you let him enter, another man enter the space that you, in front of God and a crowd of witnesses, only belong to me. It's a little different in that regard. That's in how men look at it. So when you talk about that loyalty thing like that, and there's a violation there, okay, yeah, you being honest. It's again, we need it, but I'm just saying, I think for a lot of men, what's really hurting them is the loyalty is just destroyed. Like, you know what I mean? And that's the emasculating part of being disloyal. Even when you divorce, even in divorce, a lot of people argue that men have a tougher time with divorce. May not look like it on the outside, but he has a tougher time because he was willing to be miserable in that. He wasn't leaving. He saw a lot of what you saw, but I made a promise that I wasn't leaving. I was talking to a brother, a good dude, and he was just telling me how he's single. He was saying a lot of his married guys, his married friends, they're Christians. And they're married to wives that know they're trying to live for God, and they're taking advantage of that. They're manipulating that. They're milking that. You know what I mean? There's no checks and balances for them, so they just kind of do whatever, talk to them, what you just. And because the guy had made a promise to God and trying to walk with God, he just taking it on the chin, turning the other cheek. But he's trying to make this thing. He made a commitment. And my single, like the guy I'm talking to is single. He's looking at that like, man, that is like, what in the world? Because I think for a lot of us, a lot of these types of men is, some of us have been told we're not a real man if we don't stand in there and work through that. A lot of us are trying to prove I'm a man.
I can handle that.
So I was just saying, it gets deep when you start talking. Again, y'all have made very valid points, very valid points. But I think about when you get into, on the surface, I think honesty is way more important when you're dating and you meet someone because you're trying to get to know the person. But I think once you've committed to each other, in my opinion, I think that loyalty thing, it's like the long game when it comes to loyalty. And I just think about what a lot of people are dealing with, just trying to be loyal to someone that they've committed to and the things that they deal with. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I did have a stored thought about your infidelity example.
Okay.
As a man, would you want to know?
Would I want to know? Yes. I would want to know.
So, and staying in the context of our topic, you got honesty or you got loyalty. You got a hunch. There could be some sneaky stuff going on, but hey, she here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask that. You answered that. Thank you. Not trying to prove a point, but like just weighing honesty and loyalty in that example.
Yeah. Again, I the way I prefaced at the beginning, I said I think I prioritize loyalty over honesty, but that doesn't mean that honesty isn't important.
Right. Like in, I don't want to say healthy, but in a realistic context, we're set. I'm shaping my opinion either or. I got to have one. Okay, that's not realistic.
Sure.
I think it's healthier to say they're both valuable, like you did in the opener. They're both valuable, but in your opinion, which one weighs more? Ideally, you got to have both.
Right.
Ideally, you got to have, or at least be working to form a balance of both.
Sure. Absolutely.
Because they're two
and
very
that's
important.
why I had no problem answering your question the way that I did.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I would want to know that.
Sure.
I think,
But we don't have a conversation if we just start off by saying, hey, if you could have both, would you want honesty and loyalty? Okay, subscribe to us on YouTube.
who wouldn't?
Right.
Who wouldn't want both?
But for the sake of this, I can see, just in hearing y'all talk and observing and really listening this time for once, I can see that there are some harmful products that can come from loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any harm that comes from honesty.
Yeah, there's some harm that can come from honesty, dude. Absolutely. Absolutely. I just think you have a dude, you know how many times I've heard people say, I've even heard women say, I just don't want to find out if this person's cheating.
I don't want the truth.
I don't want the truth.
I can't handle the truth.
Okay. Clearly you can handle it. So you have a different perspective on honesty as the regular person, right? But there are a lot of people don't like they will live in a facade for years because they don't want to be confronted with the real truth. Why? You just added earlier, it hurts. They don't want to deal with that pain. So let's not get it twisted. Depending on how your mental health is set up, you know how to compartmentalize and process that pain better than the average Joe who probably hasn't done the work. If they get honesty, some people turn bitter because they don't have the tools you got to process that. Is that fair?
Yes. But what if they don't get it?
Well, if they don't get it, they continue to live in whatever facade.
Okay. You think sometimes those facades go to the grave?
Sometimes.
Okay. Even if they do, Walker.
I'm not saying
you
don't get the honesty.
No,
but some people
but you
aren't
don't think
prepared for
you
it.
don't think the truth ever surfaces in certain situations?
Oh, sure. And they stick their head in the sand, metaphorically speaking.
Right.
Absolutely.
But for the sake of the relationship, I believe, even though it may hurt, it's for the betterment.
Can be.
Walker, I don't, man, like
Can be.
this morning, dude, I was doing back squats. I hate doing back squats. You know why? Hurt. They hurt. They hurt, Walker.
Why are you doing back squats? Like, that's a better question.
Okay. You're thinking CrossFit back squats. I'm thinking more like reasonable weight. I'm 42 years old back squats. Yeah, I'm not doing any crazy weight now, but I'm still doing them.
Okay.
My legs right now hurt.
Sure.
But am I going to be better or worse for that, dealing with that hurt?
In your example, you're going to be better for it.
Okay. Thank you. Because Captain Nuance was coming out the phone booth.
What's the question?
He asked me a question, but I had to, it was a rhetorical question.
about honesty hurting? Or?
It was a rhetorical question.
The
because I was getting ready
pain,
to
the
answer it.
hurt, and the
I was
discomfort.
getting ready to answer it, and I could already feel him like answer it the way that I really want you to, so I can finish my points. It was rhetorical. Continue.
It was an attempt to show the pain, that pain and hurt and discomfort that comes from being honest and telling the truth. It's not always a bad thing.
Not always a bad thing. I'm not saying it is. What I'm saying is using your back squat analogy.
Why do you have to say it like
How did I say it?
that? No, I'm just going to be loyal to this conversation. I won't be honest.
Using the analogy, how many people have gotten injured? doing back squats? You don't have an exact number, but you can imagine
It's a
how
lot.
many people
A lot.
was doing something that was good.
I got hurt in CrossFit from doing back squats.
Okay, my point is, if you're not built to handle whatever stress comes with that, it's still not good for you. Still not a good, even though it in and of itself in a vacuum was a good thing. It's a maturity thing is what I'm getting at.
That's what it was with me.
It's a maturity thing. And some people aren't there. Even though they need to hear the truth, they're not there.
And Walker, like, I like to be vulnerable and transparent on here, at least for a small part of the podcast. But I've been that guy. I've had my wife tell me, like, I've been afraid to tell you the truth because I don't know how you're going to take it.
Sure.
And so she chooses, in those moments, thank God, she chose loyalty. But to supplement your point, I had to grow, I had to mature to where I was able to receive the truth.
Okay.
And when I tell you I've received some bitter truths from that woman since, Lord have mercy.
I think loyalty means she told you the truth. I'm still want you to know this.
I'm scratching my head on that one.
Well, think about it.
I think it was more loyalty early on when she wouldn't tell me the truth.
Well, she didn't leave you, but what I'm saying is that because she was still committed to you and wanted you to be better, that's what moved her to want to tell you still after all these years of failed attempts.
True. But to your point, which I can't believe I'm supporting this, I wasn't ready to do that heavy of a back squat. So you're right. I agree with that. I agree with that's what I'm saying.
That's the thing, because I think in this stage of your life, you are ready for it. That's a blessing. That's a blessing. I think like you, we need to make a commitment to better ourselves so that when these moments, our blind spots are exposed to us, or someone tells us something that makes us uncomfortable, we're already by default in a position to receive that. Right? And there's a commitment on your part to want to be better. So that already gives you the disposition of, I'm prepared for honest dialogue and conversation, especially if this is going to move me forward. Okay?
And it is.
How many people have that mentality?
Okay. Why don't you just start off the conversation like that?
That's all. But what you're saying
that's a good point.
What you're saying isn't wrong. It's just and understand. It's just like person B comes in behind you and goes to therapy, and it's a completely different experience for them. Right? Well, same therapist, same city. Okay. The nuance is this person is different. This person has different stuff they working through. This person has, you know what I mean? This person may or may not even be in this headspace to really, they showed up to the therapy because their wife told them to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? They didn't really, they're not, the commitment isn't there. So what I'm saying is that, yes, we do need to hear the truth. Some of us just aren't ready.
Right.
For it. And I think upon hearing the truth, it can do more harm than good in some aspects, even though they need to hear it. We got people right now we can think of. If you told them the truth about themselves, you put in that relationship at risk.
That's why I wouldn't dare tell Black about the soccer conference.
Yeah.
Well, you talking about telling the truth and hurting and putting people at risk. I think about, what was it? Was it Maury? When it's like, you are not the baby's father after they've been raising the kid or something like that. Like, do you want that?
Paternity fraud.
Yeah,
and
you
all
need that truth.
Yeah. But you devastated.
Like, you've been raising this child all this time, and come to find out, she knew the whole time it wasn't
Loyal
yours.
to the kid.
Yeah. But it was based off of a lie. We see how intertwined these two.
Oh, yeah.
These two are.
And I think that's why I was so intrigued by the topic.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, Walker. Straight up, I'll be honest.
So proud of yourself. You're so proud of yourself.
I think he wants you to be loyal right now.
No, I'll be honest. When that text came through, I had time in that moment. But my knee-jerk emotion, loyalty.
Really?
Oh my gosh, it was.
Okay.
Bro, I had to really think about this, ponder on this. Like, I had to really apply a lot of thought to this. That's why I liked it so much. And then it slowly but surely
Yeah.
went its way over to honesty, and it anchored on honesty, deeply anchored.
I thought of something while we were talking, and the reason why I began to lean towards loyalty is because it's kind of a season where I am right now.
And being married.
Yeah. I'm in a period where I'm giving some grace. So you may not say everything right, and you may not be as forthcoming. You may not be as honest, because you're not even honest with yourself on some things. But I'm here. We're going to work through it. You still here, I'm still here. We're going to work through it. We're going to figure it out. You don't even know what honesty is because you hadn't thought through it yet. But I'm here. I want you to know I'm here. Okay? And we gonna be okay. Like, to me, that gives that person the latitude that they may not have it together. They may not, but you don't have to be on pins and needles and on eggshells and thin ice and all that type. Like, I'm here. As long as you're here, I'm here. We'll figure it out. Like, to me, that's why I begin to gradually lean there, because I'm like, man, and we go in over course of marriage, you take turns doing that with each other. You do. There's gonna be time you need you need grace. The season she needs grace.
A lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
Bro, like, that's a whole nother podcast discussion that I hope I'm here to endure.
Yeah.
That gray stuff is so good. We're in a similar space.
Yeah. And that's why I begin to lean that direction, because I'm like, you know what? Even when I'm honest, I don't say it right. I could have said it better. I could have landed the plane, but I could have, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we, but I'm here. And in and of itself, that's a powerful thing. You hate to it is unfortunate when people are just there, though. Like, you're not even, neither are you not really trying. Y'all just roommates, and
You're not engaged.
yeah, like, that's unfortunate. That's and I think that one of the things that PsychX talked about was understanding how the other person, kind of like the love languages, how that person interprets loyalty and how this person responds to honesty. Right? Okay, I'm an honest person, but I understand this person just like what your wife did you. Yeah, I need to tell you, but maybe we need to have other conversations first before I tell you what I need to tell you. You know what I mean? Hey, I don't know. How do you feel about the fact that I can't tell you? I don't feel comfortable telling you stuff. That make you feel, You feel away? Or you good? You just want to stay in the dark? Or like, how do you, you know what I mean? Like those are, and so I think that in the dating space, a lot of this stuff does, in my personal opinion, I don't think it applies. Because really and truly, there's no commitment in dating like there is in marriage.
Yeah.
You
just swipe.
Yeah. Ghost. You can block.
Oh,
You
and
can
this,
break
and this
up.
y'all heard about this vanish mode thing on Instagram? I'm old.
I'm old too. What is this?
I
What
can't
are the kids doing now?
I can't speak about it on an educated level, so we'll talk off air.
Okay. I
So-
just heard Thanos snap. Go ahead.
About what you were saying about like I guess learning how to figure out like how do they interpret loyalty and all this stuff you're talking about. Like, did you learn that through just trial and error? Did you have like a counselor? You have someone in your church, a mentor? Like, how did you get to this level of maturity?
You asking him or us?
Black, I read a lot, and me and my wife, we talk a lot.
So
I've always been a student. I've always been I shared with y'all when I was dating my girlfriend, now wife, there would be marriage seminars, and I would just go and sit in the back and just listen, and would slowly incorporate stuff here and there. And we always would just talk through scenarios. So there was a lot I would learn about her just by taking knowledge I was hearing and applying stuff, or just talking to her about it. There's a lot that I learned just from being studious, right?
and including her.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't just in a vacuum. We would talk about these things. And she is astute as well. So it's been an ongoing journey, but there was a lot of things we didn't have to unlearn when we got married, because there were certain things that was put into practice
You were building good habits along the way
as much as I could.
and building your toolbox
Yeah.
to solve issues.
As much as I could, right? So I think that's a part of it, is getting information on relationships from good, positive sources. I think that's critical, and start putting some of these things into practice, right? Like it's like an airplane. You line up way miles out, cities out. You don't wait till you get to the airport to try to line yourself up. That's gonna be bad. Start building in positive. This is why I encourage abstinence with a lot of guys, is because you don't control access to sex. So if you're train your body and yourself to, whenever you get the feeling or an opportunity, you jump on it, as opposed to practicing saying no. What are you going to do when you get married or in a committed relationship? High stakes. You got your family, and there's an opportunity by an attractive woman. What are you going to do without the reps? So start incorporating good habits early on.
So, for guys who don't do that and just jump into marriage and start figuring it out, how'd you work through that, Gatry?
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
So if you
I
don't
thought
plan,
you and Walker were cooking.
so if you don't plan and build at the beginning of the marriage, like leading into it, and you in the marriage and you have to figure it out.
This is an easy one for you.
If you don't plan, like
Yeah.
I didn't plan.
How did you get to where you are today?
Because y'all seem to be at like a mutually like mature
yeah.
level, but y'all got there in different ways.
Different journeys.
Yeah, it was just, gosh, it was my wife really getting to the point to where she just almost just shut me out. And thankfully I had one particular guy who was close to me, who I was able to share a lot of my struggles with. He challenged me to maybe look at myself and to assess what I'm putting out.
Yeah.
And so that started the thought process behind starting therapy, and then just building from there. It's a long road though, and that's why I'm thankful for this medium, because like we can at least attempt to try to help guys circumvent that by you may not have to go to the extreme of this guy and sitting in the back of marriage conferences, which is I think so, bro. I wasn't doing that when I was out here.
Yeah.
I mean, but
look at the differences though.
Yeah.
Also, so like,
Yeah.
so I'm not saying it's extreme. I'm not saying it's bad either. There's a part of me that was like, if I'd been sitting next to Walker during those times, you know what I mean?
And I think that's why I was able to easily speak into your life too.
Yes.
Because, dude, I'm telling you, I've been getting mentored from afar for
Yeah.
a long time.
Oh yeah.
So I speak a lot. I guess I speak a lot out of what I've gleaned and learned. I'll say this. What do you guys think about this before we close? When it comes to honesty, do you think it's important for guys who are dating to understand let's deal with honesty. When you're vetting a woman, do you think it's important to understand her attitude about honesty in the dating phase?
Yeah.
You understand the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it important to understand her thoughts on honesty?
On honesty.
How she views honesty?
Yes.
Yeah.
And give you an example. She only wants honesty when it validates her.
Red flag.
Okay.
Retreat.
that's
Abort mission.
But you understand? So we say we want honesty, right? But we don't explain the caveats behind that open-ended statement like that.
But Walker, and that goes to one of the points I made earlier.
Yeah.
I still reward that, because even then she's being honest.
Sure. But how many people date folks who, when you get honest with them, it's an all-out, or it's held against you later in a relationship?
I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people like that.
Yeah. So I'm saying, as if you're dating someone, women as well, because guys can do this too. If you're dating someone and they don't receive honest feedback,
Okay.
they don't receive it well at all. Loved one of mine was dating someone, and they had been dating for several months, and they hadn't been talking about basic stuff that you would think they would have discussed at the point I think they were dating 6 months. And it came out the guy don't like to talk about stuff. Okay.
Oh, okay.
He don't like to talk.
I thought you meant just in general.
No. He likes it surface. Likes to talk surface level. He don't like to get into them conversations that make you introspective and talk about, past relationships and what went wrong and stuff like that. Let's keep it back. Keep it back up here. Okay. So when you start talking about honesty, how does this person deal with things beneath? Because when you start getting honest, you're getting beneath the surface with people. We're not surface anymore because you ain't got to be honest talking about sports and and stuff like. You ain't got to be that honest.
You sure?
Those are casual conversations. But when we talk honesty in terms of you and her, you and him,
Yeah.
the relationship,
It's imperative.
that's a whole new brand of honesty. Right?
Right.
And some people just aren't there. So that's why I'm asking how critical, because I don't think a lot of people do factor these things in when they're making decisions to commit to someone. Your thoughts?
Oh, it's hypercritical.
Okay.
And it all goes back to what you want.
Sure.
What are your expectations for that relationship? And
Sure.
you have a responsibility to be honest with that too.
You got to be honest with yourself first. What do you think about that, Black? Like, how many people you think really go into relationships thinking, I don't know if I can talk to this person. I don't know if I can be honest with this person. I'm not trying to hurt them, but I see how they take honest feedback.
Yeah.
And if it don't validate them, I am in a world of trouble.
Yes. You just have to decide, like, how much, I think it's an integrity thing. Like, how much are you willing to, I guess, probably adjust yourself to accommodate them? And is it worth it to you? Like, is this person worth you compromising your integrity? Like, things you
Yeah.
truly believe in
Yeah.
to be with this person?
Yeah, that's I thought about that with honesty. With loyalty, based on what I talked about, the difference between men and women, generally speaking, and how we perceive loyalty. If she's loyal to her feelings, one of the things that I remember asking my wife is, what is it that you truly like about me? Why do you like that about me? Because if her loyalty is based on how she feels about you, then she's there for a particular reason. And you need to understand what that reason is, and if that's something you're willing to sustain. If she likes you because you make good money, what happens when life lifes? And you know what I mean? You end up laid off or whatever. Like, what? Do you think it's important that you find out why she has positive feelings towards you? We don't care about that, though, as guys. We just happy she like us. I won. Who cares what she, right?
Right.
But if you're playing the long game and she's not loyal in the same way that a guy would be loyal, a guy just grit his teeth and just white knuckle it and just, it's important to find out what made her enthusiastic about you. You should research and find that out, in my opinion. For women, I think that it's important to know that just because he's there and he hasn't left does not mean he's okay. So y'all gonna have to find that happy medium, right? Because sometimes that's why you see men have midlife crisis. They start acting out. Okay, something's missing. He's there. He comes home every day after work. He's predictable. He's all the things you want a good, loving husband. But is there anything missing? Are you okay? Is there anything, you know what I mean? His needs, her needs. Y'all should constantly be talking about that and finding those things out. Y'all thoughts before we get out of here.
No, I agree. All these things are valid and very important.
Just because he's there, ladies, don't mean he there.
Exactly.
Just because he there don't mean he there. So, good talk, man.
Deep in your bag on this one.
Awesome.
That grace combo has to happen too.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I don't know if we have like a list of future topics, but I vote that be on the list.
Okay. Cool. Well, listen, we got to get this guy out of here. Thanks again for tuning in. If you enjoyed this topic, this conversation, please smash that like button, share it, and subscribe to the channel. You can find us on social media, the THA Tipping Point, one word, on X, IG, and TikTok. With that, I am Caesar Walker. He's Ronnie Gatry. The guy behind the camera and microphone is Black. And we are the Tipping Point Podcast. Thanks.